Hello, you are most welcome. Yeah, it's Henry, the computer guy, and in today's video, we are going to be working out UNEB subsidiary ICT 2014, but our main focus is going to be on paper 2, and most especially this video is going to be about Microsoft Word. So what we are going to do first is to create a folder onto our desktop that is going to be holding our content. But you can as well create this folder in any location of your choice. But for us, we are going to be focusing on the desktop. So how are we going to do this? We're going to be locating any free space onto our desktop, right click onto our mouse, come and select the option that says new, then click on folder. And having created that folder, of course, we have to give it a name. For example, we are going to be calling it UNEB 2014 and specifically paper 2. So you can as well be able to drag this folder to any location of your choice if you feel you want. So finally, having created that folder, we have to look at the question we're going to be following into this video. I've also designed it down here so we can take a look at it. So it is UNEB 2014. We can scroll up to where the question is, and it was specifically number 1 of that year. So they're telling us that using a word processor of your choice, type the document below using Comic Sans MS font style. Then afterwards, you're going to be saving it as reading lesson 1. So we are going to be typing the whole of this from here, from Jack. Then afterwards, we are going to be making the changes from part B up to the last question. So without wasting any time, let's dive into the real practice and see how this is done. So let me first minimize this. Of course, we are going to be opening our document, then save it into this folder that we have created. There are different ways you can open a document and save it in your folder. For example, when I come down here, I can search for Microsoft Word by typing the word Word. Then you can use any version you feel you want. For example, I have 21, I have 2010, I have 2007. You can use any version of your choice. Let me use 2010 for now. And having opened it, of course, it is going to take some time to open for you. And this is the document that we are going to be working with. But remember, they told us that we are going to be saving it as reading lesson 1. Even if we haven't typed anything into this document, we can as well save it by coming on to the option that says file. And having clicked on file, we are going to be looking for the option that says save or save as. Remember, save or save as in the first place, they can help you to do the same thing, but later we'll do other options. For example, let me click on the option that says save. And having clicked on save, of course, we have to look for the location where we are going to be saving our document. Remember, we created our folder onto the desktop. So I'm going to be looking for the desktop, which is there. Then after, I'll look for the folder which is called UNEB 2014 paper 2. Then I'll select it and click on the option that says open. And having clicked open, remember the question said we should give it a name as reading lesson 1. If you look at the question down here, it tells us that we should give it a name as reading lesson 1. So that is the name we are actually going to name that document. So under the file name option, you're going to come and grab whatever is there. Then you type the name, which is reading lesson 1. And having typed that name, of course, we are going to be clicking on to the option that says save. But remember, before clicking on save, you have to see that you're inside the folder that you were working with. So I'm going to click on the option that says save. And having clicked on save, of course, our name comes at the top of the document here, which is reading a lesson 1. But remember, the question was saying that we are using Comic Sans. So before we type anything, we are going to choose the font style as Comic Sans. Let me come and type, for example, the word Jack. So when I type the word Jack, so what we are going to do is to change the font style from this section by highlighting, then come onto the option that says a font, then look for comic. So which is this one, we can press enter. So we are going to be using this as Jack is a young lad. Of course, that is what they gave us down here in the question. Jack is a young lad living with his widowed mother. Young lad living with, is a young lad living with his widowed mother. After that, we put our full stop. We look at the question and say, they're saying that their only means of income is a cow. Their only means of income is a cow. But remember, we have to type the document the way it is. So we have a cow down here. So we are going to be working the way this information is the way we have to create this document, and it looks the same as this. So what I'm going to do now is to put a full stop here. So I'm going to pause the video and type everything. Then later we can make the changes because I don't want to make the video too long as I'm typing. Okay, welcome back. So having typed the document the way it is, let's first of all look at it here. Of course, this is what we had, and I've already typed this document the way it is. So what we are going to do is to now make the changes to this. Of course, they told us to type this. After typing it, we make the changes. So let me come down here. They are telling us that part B, copy all the text and paste it in a new blank document. Save it as reading lesson 2. So they want us to save it as reading lesson 2. This is what we are supposed to save. Remember, we are going to be creating a blank document. They have told us to create another document, then we save this information as that. So what I'm going to do is to go back and open my folder, right click, come and say open. And having opened that folder, I want to show you another way we can create a document if we don't just follow the procedure we used in the beginning. So what are we going to do? We are going to be right clicking. Then we come to the option that says new. Then click on the option that says Microsoft Word. So this is a blank document. So we give it the name they have told us. Of course, it is going to be reading lesson 2. So I'm going to put the name there, reading lesson 2. Reading lesson 2. Then after, you click in space. And having clicked in space, I'm going to be opening this by double clicking on it, or you right click on it, come and say open. And having opened it, we have to paste the other information. Remember, now we have two documents, reading lesson 1 and reading lesson 2, which is now empty. So what we are going to do is to copy the whole of this information, then copy by coming to the option that says copy, or you press Ctrl C, then come to reading lesson 2 and click on to paste, or Ctrl V. So this is what we have. So we can remove some of these that are not fine. Say ignore. Let me just ignore them. Let me just ignore this. Let me ignore this. Right click, command ignore. Right click, command ignore. Command right ignore. So we have copied our work from reading lesson 1 to reading lesson 2. So now we are going to be making the changes onto our reading lesson 2. So we can come and also click on the option that says save. So let's read the next question and see what it tells us to do. So we have answered part B. They are telling us that we are supposed to include the heading Jack and the beanstalk and format it to a size of 28. So we are going to put that heading at the top because it's supposed to be a heading. What we are going to do is to come to reading lesson 2. Then at the top where our work starts from, we're going to be clicking enter to push that work down. Then use the arrow buttons to go up and type the heading they have told us, and that heading is in capital letter. I'm going to type and they say Jack and the bin. Jack and the beanstalk. Jack and the beanstalk. So they have also told us, let's look at how it looks like. They have told us that we should format it to, of course, we should format it to a size of 28. Let me come and make that change. Before we make the change, of course, we have to make a selection onto this, highlight it, command, increase the size to 28. and that is it. So if they say we can put it in center, then you can as well be able to align it to any location they have told you. But that is what they told us to do. Another thing is, or another question is, change the spacing for all the paragraphs to 1.5. So we are going to come back here to our question. Then we highlight or select our paragraphs. Then we come to line spacing. It's where we are supposed to put the spacing, which is 1.5. And that is okay. So let's come back to the question and see what they want again. So they are telling us that change the spacing. Of course, we have changed the spacing to 1.5. Insert an auto shape of a face in the middle of paragraph 1. So let's come back to our work, and we have to look for that shape of a face. So let's come to insert and go to the shapes. And having clicked on the shapes, we have to look for the face. Of course, I see this one as a smiley face, but they said they want it in the middle of paragraph 1, and this is paragraph 1. So this is where we have the middle section of it. So after doing that, there are more options we can look at and see. They're telling us that after inserting that, we have to resize it to these inches, and with it these inches. Then later we have to wrap it as tight. Let's come back and make the change. So let's begin by the size. For example, if you want to make any change on the shape or any item and you want to resize it, you can just click on it, come to the option here where we have size, and include the size they have told you. For example, they have said the height has to be in inches. So you come and change this. But remember, next time they can change the units, you have to know how to change the units. For example, if they said less centimeters, you'd come to the option that says file, come to the option that says options, come to the option that says advanced, then come where there is the word called display. And when you look for display, you can as well be able to change the units from here. Next time they can ask you centimeters, millimeters, points, or picas. So now it is in inches. You're lucky, so we can leave it there. But that's it. But that's how you can be able to change the units. So let's come and include the size they have told us here. They have said which is going to be 0.47. Then the width, let's say 0.68. 0.68. 0.68. So that is the size they told us to give this. After you press enter, or you can even put it in the middle because they said in the middle. Then later they talked about something else that you have to wrap it around, wrap the text around it tight. So let's come back and make that change also. So when you want to make any other change on the wrapping, just come and select your shape, then come to the option that says wrap text, then you pick what they said, which is tight. And that is it that we can make there. You can as well be able to move your shape around or anywhere into your work. That is so far what we have. Let's continue with our question. Their question is saying that if insert a page break below the last paragraph. That means that we are going to go where the last paragraph is. So come down below the last paragraph, we press enter to go to the next paragraph. Then after that, we have to go and use the page break. So we are going to come and insert, then the break. Of course, when you break, it will take you to the next page. And that is where we are now. Having clicked on break, you can as well keep on saving your work because you never know, you might lose your work when power goes off. So it is a good idea to always keep on saving your work such that you don't lose your content when power goes off. Then let's read this other question, and it is telling us that on page 2, use a table of 7 rows and 3 columns to design your class timetable. This is the timetable they want us to design, and we are going to come up with this timetable. It has 7 rows and 3 columns. Let's come back and do that. 7 rows, 3 columns. Of course, we are going to click on the option that says insert, then click on the option that says table. Then we are going to be looking for 7 rows and 3 columns. If you want to do that from here, you can as well count 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you cannot use this, then you can as well come to the option that says insert table, and under the insert table, you can come and write the number of columns they told you, which were 3, and the number of rows, which were 7. After that, you say enter. And this is the table that we are having. But remember, we want to come up with this timetable the way it looks like. For example, this upper row is merged. We are also going to merge it, because the question down here, it says that modify the table in GUI to make it appear like the one below. So we have to come up with something of this kind. So we are going to merge the first row. Come back to our reading lesson 2, then highlight the upper, right click onto the option that is selected, then come and say merge. So what we are going to do is to put that information. Of course, we have to get the name timetable for reading lessons. Timetable for reading. Timetable for reading lessons. So when you look at our question here, they are showing us that it is aligned to the center. We're going to align it to the center by coming back to the home, then click onto this. If at all they've told us to change the font, of course, we can as well be able to change the font. So after that, we go back and see what we are supposed to do. We are leaving one cell empty. Then we write here class 2 and class 3. So let me just copy this one, or I can just write it there. Class 2, then class 3. Class 2, class 2, then class 3. But let me first look at it again. Okay. Class 3. Class 2, then class 3. We'll leave some space here. But you're looking at our question. This is not the way it looks like. We have to change the font. For example, let me highlight the whole of this. And I'm going to be changing this to look exactly the way we have it onto our question. And I think it is going to be Times New Roman. When you look at the question down here, this is Times New Roman. Of course, this is also bold. We're going to make it bold as our timetable. Let me make it bold. And that is what we have for now. So another thing we are going to do, we are going to put these days: Monday, Tuesday, MON, then Tuesday, Monday. Down, we come and put a Tuesday. Then we come and put a Wednesday. Let me see how it looks like. Yeah, then Thursday. Then we also have a Friday down there. How does it look like? If RI. So that is what we have in the question, and I think we have put that. Then what we are going to do is put the key down here. Then later we'll work on these other sections. But remember, when you look at this, it is merged up to this side. We are also going to merge that one. Select the whole of this. We right click, then come and click on merge to become one. Then we go back and look at the question again. After this one, this is left. Then after these two, they are selected and merged into one. So I'm coming back to this. Then we select the whole of this. Right click, command, merge. And having done that, of course, we look at the question. Then this one is separated. We're going to do that also. How are we going to separate this into two? We can come and say insert, come to the table, then get a draw table. Then come and do this. So finally, we have also divided this into two. Then we can remove the pencil. Then let's come and look at the question again. I think that is okay. So we have to put in these other formats. So let's write the key down here. We need a key, so I'll come and click down here, then I write the key. Sorry, it is supposed to be in capital letter. Let me change this to also Times New Roman. Then down here, we are going to be getting this. We have one row. How many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 columns and 1 row. So let's come and do this table. Then we come and say 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's supposed to be 1 row. Then here we are going to be putting in, let me see, we have to put in the pattern here, then teacher Agnes. Put in teacher Agnes, then teacher Helen. So we can as well make it a little bit smaller or bigger depending on the size we want. So this is going to be teacher, sorry. This is going to be teacher Agnes. This is going to be teacher Agnes. Then of course we are going to be making this Times New Roman. Let me just highlight it and put Times New Roman. Then I can make it as 12 also. Also these ones are supposed to be like that. Even here, yeah. Then I can copy this one, Control C, then put it here, Control V. Then I call this one teacher Ellen. So now when you look at the question that we are having, this table is not visible. So what we are going to do is to also make it disappear. The next thing we are going to do is to remove other borders onto these names by coming to the option. Let me highlight here. And having selected here, we are going to come to this option. Then we can remove first of all, we can remove the top. We can as well come back and remove the right. Sorry, we can remove the bottom. And I think it is now fine. So another one, we are going to come and select this. Of course, after selecting it, we're going to remove the top and bottom. Top and bottom. Yes, that is our way. Then we also remove the right border. So finally, that is what we have. So now our remaining task is to put in the patterns that are similar to what we have in the question. For example, when you look at this, it is similar to this one, similar to this, then this, similar to this, and similar to this. That's what we are going to do. Let us come back and put the first pattern here. Let me come back to our reading lesson 2. And having selected our table here, of course, we are going to come back to the borders, and then click on borders and shadings. Then afterwards, we come to shadings. And having selected shadings, we want to come to the patterns and look for the pattern specifically similar to what we have there. So let me go down a little. Let me go down a little. I think it is going to be this one. So when we come and select it, we have to choose where to apply that pattern, and it is going to be in that cell. So after that, we click OK. So it comes. Then we can also come and do that for the sake of this one by coming to the borders and shadings again. Click on the borders and shadings, then come and select shadings. Then we come to the patterns and select the pattern specifically similar to what we have here. Let me see which pattern is that. Let me see. I think it is just this one. Let me select it. Then where are we applying it? We are applying it to only that cell. After we click OK, and I think it is now fine. So we have to apply this to the rest of the cells that we merged. Let me see the question. Of course, we are putting this one similar to this first one. This the last one we have done. Of course, we are doing it the same, borders and shadings. And having done that, we come to shadings again. We come and look for the pattern, and it was DK grid. So where are we applying it? To that cell that we have selected. Finally, it has gone there. Where else? Of course, this one that we divided, we do the same. Come and click on the borders and shadings again. Come and click on your shading. Come and click on the pattern. Then come and select DK. Where are we applying it? Then it has to be the cell. Finally, that is okay. So we have to apply also this one to the rest of the others as the question is telling us. Of course, we are putting it here. Borders and shadings again. Come and click on it. Shading again. Come and select the pattern. And I think the pattern was vertical. Let's look for vertical LT. T vertical again to the cell. So that is it. Then finally, I think we are doing it for one more time, which is this one. Come and say borders and shadings. Again, borders and shadings here. Come and select the shading option. Come and click the, the patterns. Then you go to the styles. And having looked for the styles, of course, we are also looking for the LT vertical. Where are we applying it? We're applying it to that cell where we have clicked. Then finally, our table is done. So let's look at the question and see what is next. So they are telling us that we should insert a header of our name and personal number. Then later we should save the work and print. Let's minimize this. We have to put the header. There are different ways you can put a header to your work. And remember, when you put a header onto your work, it goes to other pages. First of all, you can come and say insert. Then come and look for either header or footer in case you want a footer, but the header option is here. You can as well look for many options of the headers you can work with. Or if this is difficult for you, you can as well be able to come at the top of your document, double click there, then you can as well put your header there. Let's say I call it Henry, and let's say 001. I can decide to put it in any location of my choice by aligning it to either a left, a center, a right, or justified. It depends on what the question wants you to do. Then after that, you can double click into your document and the header will be put for you on all the pages. Then let's come back down here and see what the question tells us. They're telling us that we should save and print our work. Of course, I told you should learn saving your work by using the shortcut called Ctrl S, or you can always come to this option that says save. And having saved that work, they also want you to print this work. How do we print the work? Of course, you can come to the option that says file, then look for the option that says print. It depends on exactly what they want you to print. They can be all pages or it can be only one page. Then here you're supposed to select the type of printer you're going to work with, how many copies you're going to work with. You're going to be printing pages, let's say 1, 2, 3, or different pages or other pages. There are more options you can select from this section. You can choose all pages. You can print current page. For example, if it is only this page that they want you to print, you can say current page. Then that page will be given to you out of the printer. You can even choose other options here, either the landscape being portrait and other options, or collated or not. Then you can also choose the sizes of the page. Either you're going to be putting one page per sheet or more than one page per sheet. All other options can as well be worked upon. And finally, after doing that, you click on the option that says print. And I think that is what we were supposed to do into this question. And I think we are done with our question. Thank you for being such a good audience. It's been Henry, the computer guy. Bye-bye. I sign out.